Hey, everybody, welcome to Spilling the IT. I'm Paul Burke, and that is Adam Burke, and we're both here with Quest talking about channel updates and tech news. So, hope your day's going great. Adam, how are you doing?
Doing good. Just want to let the audience know we're also going to be talking about, politics, religion, freedom of speech, and elections. Just because no one hears enough about that, right, Paul? That's just to take a little right-hand turn on this episode. Is
Yeah,
that fine?
just 30 minutes, wall to wall of the deep dives. We're also going to talk about our financial statements and how much we make. Just the things you come here to find out.
Yeah, no, we're talking tech, having fun with it a little bit. Welcome to 2021, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great week. It's off to a bit of a slow start, a little bit, kind of slow. I don't know if anything's really happening, but it's just kind of nice ease into it. I saw a great meme the other day. It was a picture of the Joker, standing there with the clown from It, showing. It was basically saying 2020, showing 2021, The
Mm-hmm.
Office. So showing him around the office. It was a good meme. It was a good kickoff to the year. I was
Since
like,
All right, since we're talking about 2020 and 2021 memes, I saw
yeah.
a great. Have you seen that graphic of the only other person, or the person Tom Brady surpassed by being the oldest person to play in a playoff game? I can't remember the guy's name.
He
He
was like a he
is
was like a punter who was like 60 years old or something, right?
no. Oh, I'm sorry. The starting quarterback. There's
Oh,
a
okay, that wouldn't go well.
there
Yeah.
is a there's a picture out there of Tom Brady who is fit and does not look his age, and then this other guy, and he looks like he's lived a life. And it was in the 70s, so it's just so radically different on how we take care of our bodies now. Well, some people take care of their
Yeah.
bodies, and somebody had memed that it said at the beginning of 2020 versus the end of 2020. So I thought that was a great meme. So
There have been some good ones for sure, for
yeah.
sure. So yeah,
Um, so yeah. So, but if you're here for meme talk, you just got it. But we're also going to be talking about tech news and channel updates. And we wanted to first dive into why it is so hard to become an MSSP. So, Adam, if you kind of want to talk about that for a little bit.
well, one of the things that's been a lot of fun, and we saw this over the last couple of years of our company, and a lot of organizations are trying to get into the security space, and there are tons of tools out there, tons of capabilities, tons of people needing help in MSSP. For those who don't know, is managed services security provider. And that's basically an MSP with a security background and helping people, defend their environments, manage their security policies, and basically help keep the bad guys out. And what happens is, at least what we've found, we built out a practice for a long time, and there's a lot of different skill sets that go into that. There are systems to be concerned about. There are operating systems. There are network issues. There are end user issues. There's training. A lot of different layers to the cake. And sometimes what happens is people will position one tool or one skill set or one monitoring device that is going to kind of help an MSSP, excuse me, deliver a solution to a customer. That's great, but there are also so many other different skill sets required to effectively communicate security and effectively manage security for organizations that it's very difficult to basically kind of start from ground zero in the MSSP world. So um, we've been doing it for a long time. We come from a value added reseller world where we sold a lot of product and technology. We still do that today. We developed over the years a professional services skill set, so 200 plus engineers in different areas, plus our kind of vast partner network. And then we moved into managed services, which was monitoring, notifications, and alerting on certain things. And then after that, we moved into the security realm. So we kind of built up the stack to get to where we are today. And that's it's we've been around 38 years. It didn't happen overnight. And a lot of what we're seeing in the security space is people kind of trying to jump right into security, which is great, and it's awesome. And we help organizations get there if they want our help. But there's a lot to it when it comes to layering the cake for security. I think there's a good article in CRN that I think Paul was referencing. We kind of go through those articles around what's the latest in the news, and that was at least the gist of the article as I understood it, and our background in the security space too.
Nice, thanks. So you're seeing in the environment, some people are trying to jump right in without kind of taking the care and the effort to deal with the small little parts before becoming MSSP.
Yeah, I mean it's the same. It's the same for organizations that are trying to build out their own security operations, right? So if a company's has never built out a SOC internally to manage their environment, you don't just start and pull out an effective operating security operations center. It's something that takes a long time to develop, and they're great. There are great partners out there who can help you get there. But there's just a lot of parts and pieces that go into it. It reminds me of back when we first started getting into desktop as a service and VDI. Our company, the way we get pulled into new opportunities is we really do believe, hey, we're an IT company, and how can we help? Rewind the clock back to 2010. A lot of organizations were trying to figure out how to effectively deploy virtual desktops and VDI. And then along came this capability of desktop as a service, which was multi-tenant VDI, which means multiple organizations can leverage the same hardware to basically deliver virtual desktops. That was something that hadn't effectively been done up to that point. Everyone kind of had their own private instances of virtual desktops, Citrix, VMware. We were early adopters with Desktone back in 2013, I think, which eventually became Horizon View. And one of the most challenging and dangerous things for an IT company to do is something that touches the end user, because you don't get a lot of second chances when it comes to working with the end user, because they're consumers of Apple, they're consumers of Netflix. They turn on their smart TV and they expect Disney Plus to just work. At least my daughters do, and
And some grown men.
And some grown men with purple hair. And if they don't get that effective kind of like plug and play, there's hell to pay. And so when we got involved in desktop as a service and VDI, there are a lot of components that go into that. There are applications that have to work in a virtual environment. There's storage, there's security, there's data, there's all the different layers of technology that have to come together to basically deliver a desktop to an end user in a functioning, effective way. And sometimes you talk to some vendors and some software providers, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, it's plug and play, it's great, yeah, go for it. Sure. It could be if every single application you're using is cloud-based, SaaS-based, and you're up to date on all sorts of things. But people come from all sorts of different backgrounds, and making all those parts and pieces work is really where we effectively grew our managed services business in the VDI world. And then where we're seeing that same thing happen today in the security world. There's so many different parts and pieces, so many things flying around from a standardization standpoint. It just came up in the operations meeting this morning, where we're seeing a lot of people who don't know that Adobe Flash Reader or Adobe Flash Player, is going to basically get killed tomorrow. They're sending out the kill switch and notification that, hey guys, by the way, Adobe Flash Player is no longer going to be functioning on your websites or on your applications or wherever it is, or wherever it lives. It's getting killed by Adobe. So that's just a small example of a little monkey wrench that can really throw a lot of people off. And, if you assume it's easy to do, give it a shot, give it a try. And, not saying don't do it, just saying.
Then contact us if you need help.
I would, and I hate this, glass house, throwing stones, 100%. you can get humbled extremely quickly in this market and in this economy. So not saying don't go for it, just saying it's a challenge, and make sure you go into it with your eyes open and humility first on that one.
Nice. I think that's really helpful. Also, I forgot to mention to you, Adam, that we were recently contacted, and somebody said, "Oh, I watched a series of your Spilling the ITs. Adam is so helpful. That was a really lot of great information. By the way, what's the deal with the hair? Why?" So also, if so, for that person out there, if you're watching, um, just because there's not a lot of like, I like color and I was bored, so there you go. That's as
Each their own.
deep as
They,
it
they could have
goes.
been commenting on on the previous episodes in our early work.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I did
We've
have a shaved
evolved.
head.
We've come very far.
I was rocking the buzz cut earlier too. So maybe they weren't commenting on the evolving um, you know
Adam, they
color
might have
scheme.
been, they might have been talking about your hair. I just know your ego is very fragile,
It
and
is
so I just didn't want
delicate.
to like call you out.
Okay, I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
you're
I
welcome.
appreciate that, and I'm delicate, and I
Mhm.
appreciate you coddling the mind of Adam. I
It's very
appreciate that.
true. Around the office, Adam often called the delicate flower of the office. Maybe not. Um, so, would you like to talk? We got a lot of topics, so whatever you want to dive into. You want to talk managing the shift from push to pull, the idea of making sense of IT telecom channel convergence.
That one's been going on for like, I mean, we started our partner program 2009, and we first got involved with partners in the telecommunications space back when it was Phone Plus. There's a convention and a magazine. It's now called Channel Partners, but I mean, they've been talking about convergence between the folks out there who are selling connectivity and connections with the systems and the hardware and the manufacturers and all those type of people. They've been trying to figure that. Everyone's been trying to figure out that game for a long, long time. We talked about it a little bit in our type of partner
Mm-hmm.
um, episode, where hey, this is what a master agent is. This is what a technology distributor is. This is what a service provider like Quest does. That was a lot of fun, and we continue to see people acquiring different master agents, acquiring different sub agents and consultants, and we've been investing in the channel as well. We brought on new partners in 2020, which we were excited about. Brought on some specialists in the unified communication and in the collaboration space. Beefing up our portfolio of services, what we call our core pillars, and the convergence between telecom and compute, especially with the idea of subscription-based services, has made that come together much faster. I think because in the legacy telecommunications world, people were selling contracts for circuits that are basically monthly reoccurring charges for services. Um, what organizations like Quest does is we take capability and we deliver that as a subscription service under a service level agreement to our customers. And those two things actually mold really, really well together, because if you need security as a service, for example, but you also have to have your data transport and your voice transport over, the internet, those can both be subscription-based services. You can subscribe to hosted, managed firewall and SIM services, and then bolt in your existing telecommunications, which is, one of the main reasons everyone's going to the cloud is, I mean, I have a gig at my house. I mean, 10 years ago, a gig at your house was like, insane.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like table stakes, right?
It's
I'm in a
expected. It's expected
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
yeah. It's one of those things where yeah, you better. I mean, how are you going to stream 27 different applications at the same time and have your refrigerator remind you that you're out of milk, dumbass? It's like, oh yeah, well, okay, I guess I better order the gig. I don't want to be a luddite.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah. but I think it's coming together fast, and it's a lot of fun to see, you know, people who are in different industries, bringing other people into their opportunities, and cross selling, and bringing additional value to their customers. It's a lot of fun to see. It's the whole reason our partner program exists.
Just to help people understand, what is it like to know you're out of milk without having to do this and look? What's that like? Walk us through
It
that, Adam.
it's well there so there's a couple things in my life that I remember. The birth of my daughters, the marriage, graduating from Ranger School, and then getting notified that I was out of milk. Basically, it's right there.
Mhm. Really help us paint that picture, Adam. 2% non-fat. What are we looking at here? Skim?
Oh no, see, I'm a 1%. I'm a one
Okay.
percenter
Got.
through and through, baby.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Good to know. So we're talking. I'm a
And
2%er. I'm a
you can
2% milk guy.
you can clip that for when the mob comes at the guillotine to start slaughtering us. I'll just please don't clip that, because I'm sure that'll end up out of context in some way and not be appreciated
I'm a one
by.
percenter. I was talking about milk. I was
I was
talking
talking about
about
milk.
milk.
I was 100% talking about milk. Sorry.
Um, that's really funny. um, why? So, if you want to kind of dive into this a little bit, why do you think it's taken? Because you mentioned they've been talking about convergence since 2009, and that's 11 years to now. Why so long for it? Why is that convergence taking so long? Is it because that finally, like, the subscription model is working better and it's happening quicker now, or why is it taking so long?
I think there's a couple reasons, and I think part of it has to do with how the market recognizes revenue for companies, and how organizations set themselves up from a billing, a collecting, and a paying their people, and paying Wall Street, or not paying Wall Street, but reporting to Wall Street. You had huge organizations like Cisco and Microsoft and VMware and all these organizations that were used to selling CapEx type purchases, where they go in, they invest in pre-sales engineering, they scope out a huge purchase, and they capitalize a 1 to 5 million or $20 million purchase, whatever it is, and then that firm then depreciates that hardware over the term over its life cycle. That shifted, with AWS and Microsoft Azure, and people started doing subscription-based services. We started doing subscription-based services in early 2000, where we would buy the hardware, buy the software, purchase the communications, bundle it up into an SLA, and sell it back to the customer as a subscription service. We would do that. The funny thing was, we'd be buying it from a vendor, and we might actually be competing with their rep, because that rep at that company was incentivized to sell that box to the customer. We were selling that box to the same customer, selling the same branded box. We were just selling it as a service. So it took a long time, took years, for what's called like the service provider channel and the direct channel and all those things to kind of come together and figure out, okay, how are we going to book this revenue? How are we going to report this revenue back to Wall Street? And then how are we going to pay our people?
Mm-hmm.
And then also you have these organizations like Cisco and VMware and Microsoft, who have a huge channel of sellers. How are we going to motivate our partners to evangelize our technology out to the people who consume it and get them paid on it, right? How are you going to make money with Microsoft? How are you going to make money with Cisco? How are you going to pay your mortgage by knowing VMware, SRM? Like, how are you going to do these things? That's still evolving right now. We're still seeing, how people are motivating the channel to sell stuff. I mean, we deal with it ourselves. We partner with people all around the country to position Quest services, and we're always out there looking for people who want to, deal with our company and position our capabilities with their relationships to help them do that. And hey, what motivates them to bring us in versus someone else? Or hey, is it a relationship thing? Is it what's it at the end of the day, what gets the deal done? So that doesn't happen overnight. A battleship like Cisco or Microsoft or VMware or name any of the large manufacturers out there. Doesn't happen overnight. Um, you got firms like we talked about last time. You got firms like Salesforce, who were built on that model. They were built on the subscription-based services model, right? So they've done an amazing job of branding themselves and pushing that out there to everybody. Like, hey, it's easy. It's your CRM. I mean, they even got the ticker symbol CRM, which is a pretty cool ticker symbol if you ask me. And they're used to selling that, but not a lot of people in the channel making money selling Salesforce because they don't need the channel. They just sell it directly to whoever they want to. And then there's a lot of opportunity to do integration work, and we do a lot of integration work with them. But yeah, just segue.
Is that what was that?
Line.
Well, Adam, that brings us to some other topics, if you'd like to dive into it. We've never talked about. I'm just kind of reading some ideas here, and let me know what works for you, Adam. Referrals. We've never talked about referrals as a powerful marketing tactic. Is that something you kind of would be interested in talking about?
Oh yeah, referrals are worth their weight in gold. I mean, you can. I try to, put out messages on LinkedIn, and we have a marketing department, and we have a business development group, and and you always try to grow, business through telling people your story, but referrals from someone who's done business with them in the past or that they trust, those are worth. I mean, that we build our partner program around that. We build our partner program around the idea that there are organizations out there doing business with people that they trust and that they like, and that they'll do business with again. And how do we frame ourselves as a value to those people who are already doing business with the clients we want to do business with? It's an amazing, when you do get it humming along, it's pretty cool to sit at your desk and you get phone calls. I get phone calls. This is one of the coolest things in my day-to-day life that I definitely am very grateful for, and is totally a blessing, is you get phone calls from people calling you to ask for help. Now, to any salespeople out there who know how painful it is to cold call and dial and knock on doors, that's unreal from an opportunity standpoint. So referrals are an amazing thing that people can build huge companies around, so.
And it takes time. I think that's the other important thing too. It takes time to get to that place where you're going to get the referrals. I think sometimes, when you're out there, you're like, why is this not happening quicker? It's going to take some time. I mean, do you have an idea or like a number for anybody watching, like how long it took before referrals were happening more regularly for Quest in terms of what we do?
So if I wasn't related to the CEO of our company, I probably would have been fired for not producing much revenue over the first 3 to 5 years of the partner program. Like Tim really believed in the power of the partner program and in referrals. And it took us, no joke, took us 5 years to see significant growth in the idea that, hey, these people have been here. They're going to be here. I like what they do. I like who they, how they do business. And, they're going to be here a long time. It takes time to establish trust. I mean, you can lose it in the blink of an eye, but it takes years to build it. So from a referral network standpoint, from a, hey, who can we do business with standpoint, it takes years. Hey, I mean, you hear names in the channel, you hear people, you know where they're at, and then two months later they're at a different location, or they've had 5 jobs in the last 2 years. There's people out there who hunt and fish based on that type of stuff, and then there's people out there who hunt and fish based on, hey, this person's been at this company for 8 years and they've been through this type of event before. I'm going to trust them with my relationship and bring them in here and see if they can help. And yeah, it takes time. So I'd say 5 years, to legitimately start getting a referral network. So keep going.
I think it's really helpful to put out that number to kind of give an idea. So so Adam, I want to respect your time. It's almost 11:30, so I want to be respectful of that. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about before we end this episode?
We didn't get into the critical race theory or politics, but we'll have to save that for next time.
What a shame. What a shame we didn't get to touch on that. There's always next week. Tune in next week, and we might not be able
No.
to get to it then either.
No, I'm excited about the next year and opportunities that are growing and changing and everything that's going on. It's exciting, certainly an exciting time to be around. And if anyone's got any feedback about what they like on these episodes or what they've appreciated, we'd love to hear from you and see what you have as far as feedback. Paul and I have a lot of fun doing these. These are, probably it's a good time, and we appreciate the opportunity to chat with everybody. And I know we're all still kind of separated and remote and all that kind of stuff, but it is good. So any feedback you have or anything you have from a coaching or a heads up standpoint, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, honestly, it's a moment Adam and I get to hang out and talk, and which is really nice. It's very self-serving in that way, but we want to bring you more value. So yeah, if there are suggestions, things you'd like us to talk about, leave it in the comments. Since you're watching on YouTube, you can easily just leave a comment right below, and we see that very quickly, and we'd appreciate any thoughts that you have on it. We definitely want to tailor this to bring you the most value possible. So, Adam, before we end it, real quick, what are you watching? What's on TV? What are you watching that's worth it?
I started watching, I probably watched Band of Brothers like 20 times when I was in college. I think I was in college then, pretty sure. But I never watched The Pacific. So I started watching The Pacific. So,
Nice.
biased, I'm an Army guy, so I never, the Marines did a great job in World War II. And we're a bunch of buddies who are Army ROTC guys like me. We watched Band of Brothers probably 20 times, but I never got a chance to watch The Pacific. So I started watching The Pacific on HBO, and I'm on episode 2. And they're in Guadalcanal, and holy hell, that was a hellscape that was unimaginable. And they did a really good job of bringing it to life in that series. So watching The Pacific and being grateful for being cozy in my office talking online. So
wow. And real quick, if people want to watch that, I'm guessing that's on HBO Max.
Yeah, it's on demand. Yeah, you can watch it on demand.
Got it. I'm actually watching another show on HBO Max, Raised by Wolves. I'm still into that show, and it is amazing. So
cool.
Enjoying that.
Right on, man.
Cool. Well, hey, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I'm Paul Burke. That's Adam Burke. If you have any questions or need advice, help, you can always reach out to us at questsys.com or look below, and our phone number is right there. We'd love to talk to you and help you out if we can. So, great. Have a good day.
Thanks.